Test, test, test. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Joys of Editing. We have Gahiji joining us today. Pretty cool little art. I'm excited to get this edited. But before we start, the program that I'm using is called GIMP. It's a free Photoshop or free photo editing software. So if you want to download it and kind of toy around with your own thumbnails or own images, go for it. I have a link down in the description below. And the music that I'm listening to is Illinois Street Lounge by Soma FM. So, and then I have a link down in the description below. So if you listen to it, pull it up, kind of have it on the background, go for it. It's definitely a nice little station. I do all my recording to that too, so it's just some really nice chill magic. But look, we got Gahiji. Pretty cool little art on this one. If you want to find out about the deck, I have a deck tech. We're doing art today, but yeah, that's one of my favorite things about doing card editing is you get to finally, you have your magic card. It's a little tiny magic card, and you don't really get to see the full detail of the picture. And this Gahiji picture is really cool. I mean, you've got the columns in the background, and then you look at each little column right here. We've got like maybe it's like a little cougar or a little lion, or it might be a goat or something like that. I don't know. But they're on each column. That's really cool. And then you look up on the column, they have this kind of like this almost just white flower vine that's growing over there. And then, of course, you've got the people down at the bottom. It looks like they're worshiping Gahiji, maybe. I'm not sure. The jury's still out on that. But to me, I don't know. This may not be right, but it looks like maybe Gahiji tried to sneak some cookies before dinner, and all the people are mad. They're like, Gahiji, man, you're going to run your dinner if you keep eating those cookies, and they've got him cornered against the wall. Because it looks like he's cornered, but they might be, yeah, I mean, you've got people that are worshiping him down there. But, I don't know, I kind of like thinking that Gahiji's trying to ruin his dinner by eating too many cookies. But, alright, that's enough talk. Let's go and get on with the joys of editing. Let's go and make a new layer. I'm going to go over here, add a transparent layer, and let's go and slide this down, because you want to create this like a sandwich. And then we're going to make a just a blank color layer. So we're going to go to another layer and the transparency again. And then on this one, let's go to the fill bucket. And then just so I can show you, see this little eye over here? You click it, it's going to make Gahiji go away. And then we have this current layer highlighted. So this is going to be our color layer. So get the fill bucket right here. Just click. It's going to go a nice green color. And then we pop Gahiji back up. Actually, we need to move this transparent layer up above. All right, so now we're going to merge Gahiji down. That way it's going to be right on top of that transparent layer. There we go. And then we have this colored layer behind it. So if we get the eraser tool, you'll see why we put the colored layer there. You can see where it just kind of turns green. What this colored layer is going to do is it's going to allow you to say, like, let's say we're editing through here. Hit Control Z. Make sure you have the correct layer highlighted. Yeah, we have this layer. So, like, go right here. See, and then let's say we missed a spot as we're going in, like you'll see kind of that little area right there. So just kind of highlights that area for you, makes your work a little bit easier. So let's go and hit Control Z. But as far as the edit, man, this would be a pretty clean little edit. The only thing is we have a lot of tails and some little horns in there, so that's going to be some nice little areas to kind of highlight, or later when we go in to clean it up. But let's go and beat the bolus of the brush, make it a little bit bigger. There we go. And let's kind of work the edge and slowly just kind of clear this background out. Those little people in the corner are pretty cool. I'd like to leave them in the art, but I think they'd be too small once we kind of scale the Gahiji onto our thumbnail. Let's go and make this just a little bit smaller. Probably go to about 70. Yeah, that looks good. And what you're going to do is once you've kind of gotten out the main layer, you're just going to kind of just follow where you've done and then just slowly kind of work your way in towards the center of the image. Did we nick that? If you ever nick something, just hit Control Z. It'll completely redo it. And that's also a good thing to, you want to kind of let go of your mouse every once in a while and kind of do little staggered clicks. That way if we do make an error, it's only going to reduce just that little area right there. So that's a good way to kind of make sure that, if you kept your finger down the whole time and then you made a mistake right at the end, hit Control Z, it would redo everything. So it's just a little bit of a way to kind of it's almost like saving your work on a Word document. You're just kind of just doing little clicks that you know are good. Then we're going to come up here, just kind of bring it down. But yeah, I just kind of like, kind of want to know the story behind Gahiji. Oh, but speaking of cookies, if Gahiji's a cookie thief, I can talk about my favorite cookies, or at least junk food at least. And then in fact, with these videos, I kind of want to do something to where, you as the viewer can comment in the comments with something. So if you want to tell me your favorite junk food snack, go for it. I'm about to tell you about mine. I love those, it's a little Keebler, I think it's Keebler cookies. It has the 3 M&Ms on it, and they're like real cheap cookies. Like they're not like soft cookies or anything. They're just what you would expect from a cookie factory, 100%. But I love them, man. And I eat them, and I'm always a little bummed that we, sometimes the cookies don't have all 3 M&Ms on it. I get a little mad on that. Like, come on, man. I paid for a pack of cookies. I want 3 M&Ms on every cookie. I don't want a cookie with 2 M&Ms on it. But yeah, I like those cookies. And when it comes as far as junk food with me, I have to be really careful with it, man. Like, I have no control with junk food. Um, I guess it kind of gets down to my reasoning. So, let's say that you buy a pack of cookies, and then your intention is to eat it over the course of 2 weeks. Um, my thought process is, well, if we're going to eat it over 2 weeks, why not just eat it in like 4 or 5 days? Let's have some fun. And so I go through these stages where I'll buy those cookies and I'll eat them, but I have to give myself about a month buffer because I ate so many in a quick time frame. Oh, and then peanut butter. What is it? Those peanut butter pretzel nuggets. Oh my god! I went to Costco one time and I ate that entire bucket in the weekend, and I haven't bought them since. It was just like it was almost like some sort of heavy drug for me. I was like, man, I cannot coexist with these in my house. They get eaten too quick. It's pretty bad. But yeah, and I'm also like that with cereal. Oh my gosh. We ate a lot of cereal growing up as a family, and my wife didn't eat that much cereal. And so we'd buy it, and it'd just be gone. Or she'd buy her own box, and then she would eat like a bowl out of it. And then I'm like, well, we don't need the cereal to go to waste. And then I would just finish the box for her. And so it's just kind of hard for me to keep cereal in the house, too. That's a guilty pleasure of mine. I love sweets. I mean, I work out. I try and stay fit. I watch what I eat for the most part. But when it comes to sweets and junk food, oh, yeah. Love it. And but yeah. So if you have any favorite junk foods or sweet treats that you really enjoy, hop in the comments, man. It's always fun to hear more about you as the viewer. Okay, let's get back to the editing. That's enough cookie talk. All right, so we've got most of the outer edge kind of done. Let's kind of back out just a little bit. We do need to make the brush just a little bit smaller, so we're going to bump this down to probably about 20. That way we can start getting a little bit more, yeah, I like that. We can really kind of work towards that edge. And when you're doing editing like this, you really just want to just kind of hug the outer part, or at least the outer line of the art that you're going to highlight. So you can see right there, we're doing a pretty good job coming around the corner. We'll come back in there with a smaller brush and just clean that up later on, but you just want to kind of hug that corner as you go around. And once again, just let go of the mouse every once in a while to make sure that you don't, ooh, little boop areas. I love booping with the eraser tool. It's always a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know why. It's just I think I'm easily entertained. But yeah, when it comes to knuckles and hooves or whatever those little things are called, yeah, enjoy doing little boops like that. And then let's hit Control Z. So we may end up leaving that as his little tail. We'll kind of buff that out. And can we make it through that gap? I think, yeah, we made it. That's fine. We'll go through it. And then don't want to push past there. So we're just going to work this area out, kind of clean it out. But yeah, as far as the deck goes, it's Naya Enchantress. So I'm pretty excited. I haven't recorded the gameplay videos yet, but I spent a pretty good chunk of time on this deck. I really enjoy Naya Enchantress style stuff. Or not Naya Enchantress. I enjoy building Enchantress card draw engines. Let me rephrase that. It's always a lot of fun, and I just love drawing cards. And just when you have stuff that's synergistic together, like all the enchantment pieces that draw cards, it makes for a really fun like value engine to build. And, whatever your support commander is, you can almost build Naya Enchantress for anything. I mean, it's really, at the end of the day, you're just kind of building a card drawing engine and then using it to kind of support on the back end. Like I think we probably have, ooh, perfect, we can fit in there. Like we probably have around 50 pieces of enchantment, some sort, and then the back end we just have around 10 or 15 beast creatures to kind of even it out. And so, but yeah, you can kind of support whatever. That's why on my Get Rog Hypnotoad deck, that's a lot of fun. Once you get the kind of Enchantress engine going, and then you build yourself a nice little Voltron Hypnotoad. All hail Hypnotoad, man. He's a cool dude. Anything else? Okay, let's go and clear right there. So we're probably just going to bump the brush down just a little bit more. We're just kind of making it just a little bit easier on ourselves. That way we come back in. There we go. And then we'll just kind of buff that out. There we go. All right. Let's kind of pull it back out. We can get in there just a little bit. There we go. All right. So we're at size 21. Let's go and beat the bolus out of this brush. Knock it down just a little bit. Go down to about 15. Let's go down to about 13. 12. Yeah, 12 looks good. All right. So it's going to allow us to kind of start making some little curves in here. And really just cleaning it out right there. So yeah, if you've ever wanted to do like any sort of card, not card editing, but in image editing, this would be a good video just to watch. I mean, there's a lot of, I'm doing a thumbnail for a YouTube channel, but if you come across this as a GIMP tutorial, I'm kind of just showing you just the core concept of just being good at being able to edit stuff, the basic tools. And then you use those tools, the skills you learn, to kind of apply it to whatever you need to do. And we're going to be doing a pretty cool little font thumbnail today. Something as I do thumbnails for my channel, I'm always looking to improve. I want to make them look good. I want to make them pop. And we're going to do some nice little stuff with the font today. A lot of my early thumbnails, I would just kind of have like a muted blue color to it, and a lot of the font would be blue. And if you go back to my older videos, I used to have a solid blue background, or it had a little bit of texture to it, but for the most part it was just blue with some kind of fading in there. And that's when I started my channel. It looked good at the time because I wanted to stand out and just kind of have a set goal for my thumbnails, and it was going to be a blue background with my logo, and then the image to the right. That way you could highlight the commander. But when I played Kamal, I edited out Kamal, and he just looked tiny on that blue background. I'm thinking like, man, that just doesn't look good. It's fitting on theme with what I set out to do, but at the end of the day, it doesn't look good. So then I threw that little forest background in there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, looks good. Where has this been? Do we need to edit that part out right there? Is that like a... I think this is like one. Yeah, it's one of his little arms. All right, we'll go ahead and leave that. Well, actually, let's go ahead and clean that up. I think that'd look a little bit better. Let's just see real quick. Yeah, I like that definition a little bit better. All right, so we're just gonna edit this out. And when you're doing card editing, if you're doing it for like your own YouTube channel or anything like that, if you need to just kind of knock something off just to make it look a little bit cleaner, go for it. It's your image at the end of the day. And then you can kind of get that. You just want to have some nice definition, so you couldn't really tell that. More than likely that was that little nub, whatever that thing is, but it looks cleaner right there, just kind of having that nice little ab line. So, go and bump that in there. And just go over here. I don't even know what I was talking about. I forgot. But yeah, my thumbnails. But yeah, so like when I did Kamal, I put the force in the background that just really made it made my words pop, and it made the commander pop and highlight. And so I've been doing it ever since then. And so it's almost like every time I do a new thumbnail, I always kind of just add something to it, add a little bit of texture to it or something. And it ends up just making for a better thumbnail image. But I need to go back and update all of my my old thumbnails because they look a lot better. They don't look good with that blue background. And that's kind of something I'm putting off to where I have like a free weekend to do that, because I've got like 500 commander videos. It's a lot of videos to go back and do thumbnails on. I'm trying to think. Yeah, whenever Kamal was released, that's when I started doing the background, and then for every release after that, I started doing the sorry, just want to make sure. Okay, yeah, that was okay. I just wanted to make sure that all the thumbnails look good, and I would do just kind of color backgrounds that just kind of fill it up. And one of the things that I do, kind of not really a trick, but it ends up working well, is there's a blog called Basic Magic Land Art, and you can go there and you can sort by swamps, you can sort by sets and different stuff like that. So what I'll do is I'll go in there, for building Gahiji or something like Gonti, like I'll go to the swamps and I'll find like a really cool looking swamp, and then something that just kind of pops, because Gonti, there's a lot of swamps that really do look really swampy. But you got to dig, and you can find some swamps that look almost kind of urban in a way. And with Gonti, he just didn't seem like a creature that would hang out in the swamp. So I forget which basic what land I went with Gonti, but I found one that was pretty. It might have been one of the Guru lands now that I think about it, to where it just had a little bit more kind of like architecture to it. It looked a little bit more straight edged, and it really kind of made Gonti look a lot better in there. There we go. And then we'll get a smaller brush for some of this area in here. We can also kind of reduce the opacity on the brush to kind of really highlight some of those the feathering out. And can't fit in there. There we go. And then sometimes you just gotta put your brush in there and just drag it out real quick to give the effect of another feather like that. But yeah, I enjoy doing thumbnails. It's almost as much as it's fun seeing your work. As far as I've never been a Photoshop person. I've been all self-taught, and you just kind of get in there and learn what works for you and what doesn't. But it's really nice to see the thumbnails improve over time. All right, so we're gonna bump it down to about 5, probably about as small as we're gonna go on this one, so we can really get in here. And if we need to, we can come back in and we'll just kind of tap around the edges. And then what you're gonna just tap around the edges, and then we'll come back in and reduce the opacity and just kind of clean some of that up. Because if you can do it right with the feathered effect, it really gives it nice if you come back in there and make it kind of clear. But yeah, I like putting out a good product, and I like for my thumbnails to look good. And if you are starting your own channel, definitely work on your thumbnails. You need to have something that pops. You don't have to do anything that's crazy. One of the things that some channels do this. I'm not a huge fan of it. The joys of editing is about as far as I'm going to do for it, but some channels, they kind of make themselves like the punching bag. as far as thumbnails go, where it's just like making a goofy face and blah. Like, I mean, you can do that if it fits your style, go for it. But yeah, if you just want to kind of like grow your channel and have something that looks good, just make a really clean, established thumbnail. You know, you have style guides to it. I did accounting in college, but one of my favorite classes was what was it? It was like technical writing and other kind of like technical business in stuff. And we had to make a manual for a business, which I really enjoyed doing that. And but it also taught you to have like how to go about designing things as far as on the graphic end. And one of the things that I really enjoy is doing a style guide. So just kind of make your own. If you're like I said, if you're making your own YouTube channel, just develop a style guide. You know, what are your thumbnails going to be, and keep it consistent. That way, when people see it in the like I think for a while there, my channel, just all of my views were coming from suggested videos in the sidebar. So it was in my best interest to have a thumbnail that looked really interesting, something that really popped to the eye, and was like, oh, okay, I want to watch that. And so, and like the Locust God, I made it Club Buzz, and the Locust God's a fun commander to play with, but simply just giving that little extra added value really goes a long way. So, like I said, if you want to do your own thumbnail, kind of just Control Z. Just get a style guide going. See what works for you, and look at other thumbnails. There's nothing wrong with looking at other thumbnails and stealing ideas from them. Well, not stealing ideas, but just kind of using them, like taking components from a thumbnail. Some people have the the left side of the image is going to be dedicated to what the deck information is. You can do something like that, or develop your own little. Oh, I love doing stuff like this. Feels good. You can go through there. Yeah, just develop something that's your own and then stick to it. That way you have consistency. That way, if you pop up multiple times in other people's kind of little feeds like that, that way you can kind of say, "Oh, I keep seeing this thumbnail. And it looks good. Let's check it out." There we go. And then, is that a horn right there? Yeah, we'll go and make it a horn right on the back end. There we go. That looks pretty good. Come around the corner. We want to. That looks good. Got like a little fang right there. Oh yeah. So maybe there was a fang, maybe it was just background, but you can kind of do little stuff like that to kind of highlight a fang. And what we're going to do on these little hairs, we're just going to bring the brush in and just pull it out real quick. And then that way it kind of gives the effect of feathering like that. And then, yeah, oh yeah, that looks good. We'll need to come back in with a smaller brush to kind of clean up that hair, but we're making some pretty good progress on this one. I'm just going to come down the edge. But yeah. Just practice, do stuff, and find out what works for you. Just make it look good. When people see a good-looking thumbnail, they say, oh, well, that person cares about the product they're putting out, so I'll give it a shot. All right. Almost done with this. I'm ready to get on to the words. We're going to be doing, I'm pretty excited with this is going to be one of the first commander, or actually the first commander where we're doing, I'm kind of going to break away from the blue font that I normally use and do like a little bit of a gradient type effect, so it's going to be pretty cool. A new little thing you can learn to do with GIMP. And right now we're just kind of cleaning up just the little nooks and crannies, because if you have shadows that kind of protrude out, like when you pull back, like that looks kind of funky. So let's go in there and just make it a little bit more crisp. There we go. Yeah, looks good. And then come in here. Yeah, we'll go and just kind of buff that out. And I think that's fine right there. We're getting there. We're almost done. Yeah, I enjoy doing these joys of editing videos too, man. I don't know, it's fun. I like Bob Ross. If this is your first time seeing the video and you're like, man, this is like, kind of feels like Bob Ross, I'm going for it. That's my goal. Let's kind of just make this town a little bit crisper. There we go. And that's all you're doing with kind of the brush. It's just giving nice little definitions to it. Do we need to come in? I think we'll be okay leaving that like that. It looks pretty thick. Okay, I think we're pretty good right now. We'll probably come in here. Let's make the brush. Let's reduce the opacity on it. Go to about 50%. See what this looks like. That's a little too much. Let's go down to about... and I'm hitting the Control Z button. There we go. That's going to work. All right, so we're going to go in here. We're just kind of going to... let's make the brush just a little bit bigger. Let's just kind of smooth out some of these little areas right here. Just going to highlight around the corners. Just kind of just soften that edge up. That way it doesn't look so... And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of coming through here and clicking. And especially some areas that don't look super tight, look super defined. Just come around the corner and just kind of just smooth it out just a little bit. There we go. In fact, let's go and take care of that. Just really buff that out. Oh, yeah. Just want to give it the effect of a nice little feathering. Same thing with here. We'll just come around the edges. Just really kind of tap. Just give some depth to it. And that's one of the things when you're doing hair like this, don't beat yourself up trying to edit out every single hair. You can just simply get away with just kind of little taps here and there. Mainly you want to reduce that kind of white color. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Let's just go over here. We need to clean that up just a little bit. Kind of just buff that out. There we go. I think we're done. That'll work. Make sure we didn't miss anything around the corners. Let's go and, there we go. Looks good. Alright, so we're going to go over to our thumbnail image. Oh, not OBS. Go over here. So we have our base thumbnail. We're going to select the background. And then I hand select, picked a, there we go. Picked out a nice little bowl slane. I don't know what set this is from, but we're going beast mode with Gahiji. So I kind of wanted to do something that looked like it was like a little bit destructive or something like that. And I was like, oh, this looks beautiful. Let's go ahead and we're going to, what I did was I went over here to this image. I hit Control-C to highlight all of it. I hit Control-A to highlight everything, then I hit Control-C to copy it, and then I hit Control-V to paste it in here. We're going to right-click, go to New Layer. So this is going to be a new layer, and you can see it's on top, so it's going to cover up everything else. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to the Resize tool, and we're going to hold the Control key to kind of keep the, the original image size. If you don't hold the Control key, it'll kind of get kind of crazy looking. And then the image might kind of get a little out of whack, but let's actually make it just a little bit smaller. All right, let's see how that looks. We're going to slide it over, and then we want most of this white background, so we're going to go up here again, kind of just size it out. There we go. Alright, looking good. We're going to get the cursor tool, just move it down just a little bit. Okay. Yeah, like that. And we're going to go and drag it down. There we go. It's beneath the jolt part right there. And I think we're going to need to make the jolt just a little bit smaller. So let's go over here, highlight that, that layer. Once again, hold the Control key, and just size it down. That'll be good. Same thing with the EDH little logo. Oh. There we go. Just size this down just a little bit to kind of scale it back. Okay, gives us a little bit more room for that font. Let's go over to the text tool. Go over, type in Gahiji. Go and probably make this about, make this about 100. That'd be a good little size for it. There, it helps if we type it in. Gahiji. I accidentally highlighted over it with the 1. Alright, so we're going to make this, actually, let's go and make it black font right now. That it just looks a little bit better, and we can kind of really see what we're working with. Alright, so we're going to make it, actually, let's do about 125. Alright, that looks pretty good. So we're going to drag it up here, because we want Gahiji to kind of be over here in this little blank area. So we're going to go over here and hit the text tool again, and we're going to use this little column right here. It's just going to give us a little bit more space in between those letters. So I think that looks good. One more. There we go. Alright, bumped it about 10. I'm going to go a little bit bigger. 128, that looks good. Alright, get the cursor tool, we're going to slide it over, and we're going to use the rotate tool, just to kind of rotate it just a little bit, just so we can kind of keep on line with this little column right here. So I'm going to rotate it just a little bit more. There we go. I'm going to slide it up. Actually, let's bump that down a little bit. It looks a little funny when you kind of put it in that negative space. Alright, looks good. Alright, so we're going to move the cursor tool, just want to highlight it right there. It's perfect. And we're going to go in here and actually, the GAH looks fine, the I. The J looks a little, kind of runs into that I, so we're just going to get the eraser tool and just kind of buff that up just a little bit. Make sure you highlight on the font part. Oh, make sure we reduce, turn it back up all the way. And we're just going to give it some nice little definition. There we go. Actually, let's see if we can't give that J a little bit more. Just kind of just section it off. There we go. Looks a lot better. Just want to have that gap in between it to really kind of show that that's an I at the end and a J right there, not just like a little smattering. Okay, so we have the font. We're going to go to right-click on the font and go Alpha to Selection. So we're going to select everything that's within this image right there, and we're going to go over to the gradient area. Okay, so we have the gradient layer selected. So we're going to go click right here and just slowly kind of drag it up. And it should give it a nice little Naya color. There we go. Looks good. All right, we're going to go over to Select and hit None. That way we select nothing. You can see we have a nice little Naya Gahiji right there. And we're going to make this pop just a little bit more. So we're going to go over to the filters. We're going to go over to the light and shadow. And then go down to drop shadow. So it's going to give us a nice little black background behind it. So we're going to click OK. Offset X, Y, 4. I usually bump the blur radius down and leave it at black. And then it should make it, oh, there we go, pops a little bit more. And just to give it a little bit more texture, we're going to go over to the tools. And then go over to the filters, excuse me. Go over to the decor, and we're going to add a bevel. And then do it about 5, unclick work on copy. I think it does default on that, but just do it about 5. And there you go. Gives us some nice little definition to it. Alright, so we're going to go to beast mode. That's the name of the deck. Pretty cool. Uh-oh. Make sure we do it, just size this just a little bit. There we go. Make a new one. We're going to type in beast mode. Because we are running beast in here. Make it black. Let's do about, I think we did, let's do about 130 on this one. Actually, let's do 125. That looks a little bit better. All right, so we're going to drag it over here and position it right there. We don't want to run into the image right there. We want to still kind of just make sure there's a nice little gap in between it, and we have enough room for the verses and text right there. So actually, let's make it just a little bit smaller. Let's go down to about 117. That looks good. Okay. And then reposition it. That's going to give us enough text for the bottom right there. All right, so we have beast mode. Once again, we're going to right click, go to, and we don't really have to expand it. You can kind of tell what beast mode looks like. So alpha to selection, and we're going to go over to the gradient layer, and then once again, we're going to do the same thing, and just kind of just slowly drag it up. Give it that nice little Naya color. Oh, looks good. All right, and we're going to go over to select, hit none. Once again, doing the same thing, and then once you use a filter like that, you can go over to the recently used, and we can just simply click add a drop shadow. Makes it pop, and then go to the filters, and then go to add bevel, and give it a nice little texture. There we go, looks good. Alright, so let's go ahead and bring Gahiji in, the star of the show. We're going to hit Control A to highlight everything, and then hit Control C to copy it, and then go over to the beast mode, and then make sure that we have the our base background highlighted. We're hit Control V, and it's going to pop little baby Gahiji down. We're going to right click, go to new layer, and then we're going to expand it out just a little bit. Pop it out. We want really Gahiji to be the highlight of the show. And then we're going to reposition it to where Gahiji, it looks like Gahiji's sitting on a nice little pile of rubble. He's mad. He wants all the cookies he can get. Nobody can stop him. Does that look good? I can center it just a little bit more. Actually, no, that looks good right there. Yeah, I think that looks good. Gives us just enough room for the font over there. Yep, I'll get over to font. We're going to type in, sorry about that. When it does that, it highlights the other hot text box. So I'm just going to make text box right here. Type in VS for verses. And we're going to go over to the, I think it's the Goblin font. I like that one. It's a nice blocky font. Where are you? Oh, Go Bold. That's what it is. Let's go and pop this up to about 105. And then make it, I'm going to leave it green. That might look good. Let's go and bring that over there. Yeah, that kind of pops like that. I like that. Actually, let's make it just a little bit smaller. Okay. And let's zoom in real quick. Make sure we're not hitting anything. And when I zoom in quick like that, I'm hitting the Control key and then moving my mouse wheel. All right, just make sure we don't hit that shadow. And let's make another text box. Actually, let's make them just a little bit smaller. And make one more text box. And then the font that I always use as far as the opposing commander is Facile Sans. It's a really nice sans serif font. And where'd you go? Oh, it's down I think it's down at the bottom. Let's just type in there real quick. Okay, there we go. We didn't have any text in there. All right, let's go and pop it up to about 65. That'll be good. And then I'm going to type in our trusty placeholder. Grand Arbiter Fart Monster. I always type this in because it's a good placeholder. There's some long commander names, and then it fills up both boxes. That way, if you got to fill it in there, and you can kind of position it to where you want it. And then let's pop this up just a little bit. There we go. Actually, let's try something real quick. Let's highlight the beast mode. Let's go up there to use this color drop tool. Let's see if we can't highlight that green. Maybe if we make the our versus stuff that color, and we're going to click to move it over in there. And let's highlight the font and make it that color. See if that makes a difference. Oh yeah, I like that a lot better. That pops a whole lot better. Okay. That's another thing that you can do is within an image, use some of the same imaging to kind of keep on that theme. And what I do on this is I always add a drop shadow, so but I'm going to save it like this. But we'll go into filters, and you'll see where it just makes the last little command, the opposing commander, just kind of pop once you add that black. There you go. Looks good. Gahiji Beast Mode. Hope you enjoyed the joys of editing. I enjoyed doing these videos, and if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.